Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Let us read from the verse 10. Yogi yunjita satatam Atmanam rahasi sthitah Ekakiyata chittatma Nirashira parigraha Shucho deshe pratisthapya Sthiramasanamaatmanah Natyuchritam natinicham Chailajina kushottaram Tatraikagram manah kritva Yatachittendriya kriyaha Upavishyasane yunjyat Yogamatma vishuddhaye Samam kaya shiro grivam Dharayanna chalam sthiraha Samprekshanasikaagram svam Dishaschanavalokayan Prashantatma vigatabhihi Brahmachari vrate sthitaha Manas sanyamya macchittaha Yukta asita matparaha. Thus having told or given the basic outlines of what preparations are required for the performance of meditation, then Lord Krishna says in the 14th verse, Prashantatma, may you, the meditator, become Prashantatma, one whose mind is quiet or tranquil. Vigatavihi, may become free from any fear, have no fear at all. Don't think the meditation is going to do something to you, or you're going to harm you or hurt you. You're not going to die, nothing's going to happen to you, and therefore, in case there is fear, let the mind become free from fear. Let the mind, first of all, become free from any likes and dislikes, which, if there are any residual likes and dislikes left, they may disturb the mind. So, Lord Krishna says, Prashantatma, first of all, quieten the mind. Take a little time. When you sit down for meditation, take a little time to quieten the mind. Observe the thoughts of the mind. And if you find that there are thoughts that are disturbing the mind, that somehow, for whatever reason, the mind is still not free from the influence of the vyavahara, influence of the interaction that it was having so far with the world, if those effects are left over. So, if we do the vyavahara, we work and we live in this world, we interact with the world, and so it is possible that some little likes, dislikes, some anger, something may have generated, and maybe the effect of that is left over in the mind. So before you plunge into actual meditation, first of all, take a little time, observe the mind, and see if the mind is disturbed. Then remove those disturbances by what we call pratipaksha bhavana, by deliberately taking the opposite stand. Vigatapihi, in case the mind has some fear, for whatever reason, different people can have fear for different reasons. The cause of fear that is given here in the Tika is that this person is now meditating, which means that he is not doing something. Had he not been meditating, he may have been performing some duty which he is not doing. So what will happen to me when I am not doing what I should have been doing at this time? That kind of fear or guilt complex may arise. Don't worry about it. Because what you are doing is, in fact, is the highest duty. This is the duty towards your own self. And therefore, do not have a guilt complex that I am not performing my duty. And therefore, vigatabihi, brahmachari vrate sthitah. Also Lord Krishna says, the one who performs this meditation is the one who is abiding in the vow of brahmacharya, where brahmachari is here defined as one who is living with the teacher, serving the teacher, studying from the teacher, and thus living a life of service and austerity and penance and study. Brahmachari vrate sthitah. So this is about the meditator, that the mind should be made quiet, should be made free from fear, and then manasayamya, bringing the mind completely under control, meaning that now make your mind free from every other thought. Tell the mind that now give up all the thoughts. There is no need to think of anything else. Nothing is worthwhile. In fact, what in fact you are going to think about is the most worthwhile thing. And our mind, just stop thinking about other things. Mind may have some concerns, some anxieties, whatever the mind has. Or it may be habitually thinking about some pleasurable objects. If it does, then we address the mind and say, come drop this thinking, because it's just habitual. Very often the mind just habitually thinks about things. And thus we address the mind and make the mind free from its thinking of everything else. Manasayamya. Meaning that making the mind free from the thoughts of everything else, recognizing that thoughts of anything else are really not productive at all. The only thing that is really productive is the thought about the self or about Lord. Therefore, macchittaha. So thus, withdraw the mind from every other thought by reasoning with the mind also. We can reason with the mind as to what is the effectiveness or what do you get out of thinking of different things. Nothing. And thus, withdrawing the mind from its other preoccupations, macchittaha, Lord Krishna says, you now focus your mind upon me. As we said yesterday, me can mean either Lord with various attributes. It can be Ishtadevata, the Devata of my choice, the form of my choice. I can meditate upon the form I can meditate upon the name, I can meditate upon the various glories of the Lord, and so lots of material is available for one to meditate upon. You can take a verse, for example, and you make that as a basis of a meditation. Suppose you want to meditate on Dakshinamurti, just as an example. Then this verse, Mauna Vyakhya Prakritata Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Who is Lord Dakshinamurti? Yuvanam, one who is useful, who reveals the nature of Brahman through silent discourse, silent exposition. So Dakshinamurti himself is silent, and through silence he communicates. Even this thought itself makes the mind silent, understand? So thinking about Dakshinamurti, who is of the nature of silence, and who communicates through silence, communicates the Param Brahma, which is the very self of Dakshinamurti as well as the very self of the disciple, that is communicated through silence. Varshisthante Vasudashigane Ravratam Brahmanishthehi. Lord Dakshinamurti, who is surrounded by the disciples or seekers of knowledge of Brahman. Acharyendram, who is the most exalted teacher. Karakalida Chinmudram, on his right hand is the Chinmudra, the gesture of this knowledge, showing the identity of Jiva and Brahma. Ananda Rupam, who is of the Ananda, who is of the Ananda or happiness or wholeness or fullness which is nature. Swatma Ramam, one who revels in his own self. Because the self is everything, one who revels in his own self. And that is evident on his face also, Dakshinamurti's face. Mudita Vadanam, there is a gentle smile. Dakshinamurti mere, I worship Lord Dakshinamurti, suggests that. Vatavitapi samipe bhumi bhage nishannam, Lord Dakshinamurti, who is seated under the banyan tree. Sakala muni jananam jnana datara maharat, who is imparting the knowledge to all the sages who surround him. So you can meditate upon Dakshinamurti like that. This itself this is meditation. So if you like to visualize the form and visualize this whole thing, well, do that and focus the mind upon that. That is meditation. Or meditation can be followed with a prayer. So you can first visualize the form Lord Dakshinamurti like that, and then say, Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurte Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. O Lord Dakshinamurti, my salutations to you. Please grant me Shriyam, the wealth. Which wealth is it? The inner wealth of all divine qualities. Medham, please grant me Medha, the intelligence and the capacity to grasp and capacity to retain. Prajna, give me the prajna, the wisdom. Swaha, I offer myself to you. The prayerful meditation. So meditation also can be of the nature of prayer. As I said yesterday, Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. We worship Lord Shiva, the three-eyed, who is fragrant in nature and who nourishes the devotees. Urvarukam yabandhanat mrityoho mukshya. Like an urvaruka fruit, like a cucumber fruit, which effortlessly separates from its creature, Lord also, may I also get separated from the creeper of the ignorance effortlessly. Please release me from the bondage of death. Release me from ignorance. Release me from the ahankara, the ego, and likes and dislikes. Just as that urvaruka fruit ripens and becomes fragrant and becomes sweet, so also may my mind ripen with all the divine qualities, so that it displays the fragrance of these divine qualities. It becomes sweet, and with that, in that mind, please remove the ignorance, grant the knowledge, so that I become separated from the creeper of ignorance effortlessly. Ma Amruta, please do not separate me from immortality. So remove all ignorance, all death, all poison from my personality, make it sweet, so that it manifests the true nature of myself, and may not be separated from immortality, meaning the sweetness, the goodness, the love, the wisdom which is my nature may abide in that. Thus one can perform prayer. Therefore, this also can be meditation. One can perform japa, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana. My salutations to Lord Shiva. And thus, with the devotional attitude of surrendering or salutation, one can repeat that mantra in the mind, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, or whichever mantra you like. And maintain a stream of the thoughts, a flow of thoughts. So when the following thought is of the same kind as the previous thought, and yet the following thought is the same kind as the previous thought, then we say that the thoughts have the same subject matter. Thoughts are of the same kind, and they are all centered upon Ishvara, centered upon Lord. So maintaining the stream of thoughts is called meditation. Mat-chittaha, may you focus your mind in me. So focusing the mind upon Lord can be done in different ways depending upon our own upbringing, our own culture. So many aids are available, so many forms are available, so many names are available, so many mantras are available, so many prayers are available. Whatever appeals to your heart. So this should be done from heart. Heart means with my involvement, with my feelings, with my devotion. But that is the glue. What enables the mind to be stuck to Lord or to object of meditation, that glue is really devotion. And therefore, meditation, particularly upon Saguna Brahma or Lord with attributes, should be done with devotion. So devotion or bhakti is the glue that enables me to bond with the Lord, the object of my meditation. That's the reason why bhakti, the devotion, is given so much importance. If you have that and don't have anything else. So the bhaktas say traditionally, Oh Lord, I do not know yoga and I do not know japa, I do not know tapa, I do not know anything. What he has is a wealth of devotion. He just loves the Lord. He's devoted. And that's enough. That serves the purpose of all yogas. Meaning that you do your asana, pranayama, pratyahara and do all these things to bring your mind. Bhakti, love does that. In our day-to-day life also we know that. When you love somebody or something, mind automatically goes and gets stuck to that, gets, focused on that. And so bhaktas say that forget about anything else, all you need is devotion, which is not easy to have, but if you have that, or we should cultivate that. So with devotion, may you meditate upon your Ishtadevata, upon the Devata or the form of the Lord of your choice. Mat-chittaha, mat-paraha. And as a result of this prayer, result of this meditation, ask for nothing else. Mat-paraha. Resolve in your mind that what I am seeking is oneness with the Lord. So understand that even in meditation upon Saguna Brahma also, the desire is identification with the Lord. Mat-paraha. Therefore, become one who is mat-paraha. Become one who is devoted to me, devoted to the Lord, who is committed to the Lord, who doesn't want anything else in the life. The 11th chapter, Lord Krishna says, describing his devotee, mat karmakrit, mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha, sanghavarjitaha, nirvairaha, sarvabhuteshu, yas samamedi Pandava. Hey Pandava, hey Arjuna, mat karma krut, the one who performs all his actions for my sake. Mat paramaha, who is totally surrendered to me, he has total confidence in me, and for whom I am the only goal to be reached. Mad bhaktaha, who is devoted to me, meaning that he looks upon me as not only the goal, but as the very means also. He totally depends upon my grace in order for me for him to reach me. Sangha varjitaha, one who is gone of attachment from everything else. Nirvairaha sarabhuteshu, one who is not inimical to anybody. Yes, samamedi pandava, he Arjuna, the devotee of mine who is like this, certainly reaches me. So, mat chitta and mat paraha, these are the most important. Other things are okay, in the sense that what ultimately is this mat chitta, that I become one whose mind is centered upon the Lord. Whatever be my concept of Lord. So this meditation can be performed by anybody in any culture, whatever. Whatever be your concept of Ishvara, that's fine. As long as you have the devotion for that Ishvara, of that concept. It's not a question of my God and your God. The God is only one. And prayer can be performed in any way, in any language. And therefore, as far as that is concerned, every tradition is fine. As far as prayer is concerned, meditation is concerned, worship is concerned, you can do it whichever way. The criterion is mat chittaha, that my mind is centered upon Lord. Mat paraha, that I am only seeking Him as the goal and nothing else. And this need not only be confined to the seat of meditation. This can become the ongoing thing, as a matter of fact. Mat paraha. Our life, all the time we should be vigilant and we should be asking the mind, what do you want? And remind the mind that look, what you should want or what you really want is nothing but Ishvara. Understand that. What you are searching for is Satchidananda. That you want happiness, that's what you want. You want happiness which is unending, never ending, not limited in time, therefore you want Sadananda. You want happiness about which you are conscious, and therefore you want Chidananda. So what you are seeking, O mind, is Satchidananda. If at all mind desires anything, remind the mind that what do you expect to fulfill, what do you expect to achieve by fulfilling a desire? Remember what you are desiring, Satchidananda. And decide whether fulfilling a given desire is going to give you that. And thus we can bring the mind back again and again, mat paraha, so that remains our goal. Even in our day-to-day activities also, whatever we do, the goal is only one, that is to reach Ishvara. And also, even during the day, try to bring the mind again, mat chittaha, let the mind also concentrate, focus upon Ishvara. As Karmaphaladata is the one who is the giver of the results. As Karmadhyaksha, one who presides over all actions, who is the very witness of all the actions. In this way also, always remember Ishvara. Bring Ishvara into the life as much as possible. Remember Him through His grace, as to how every moment I am enjoying His grace. And thus, try to always keep the mind's focus upon Ishvara. And the priority of life also is Ishvara is the only agenda is reaching Ishvara, and the method is making the mind also centered upon Ishvara. Yukta Sida. In this case, meditation is done in a very concentrated way. But during the day also it is done in a diluted way. So meditation is spending the quality time with Ishvara. Other time is spending quantity time with Ishvara. But we must be spending time with Ishvara. Him as the goal, Him as the means. Mat chittaha, mat para. These are the two most important words here. Mat chittaha, mat paraha. Mat chittaha means one whose mind is centered upon me. Mat paraha, for whom I am the very goal. And meditation also is important because when we are active doing things, then the mind is naturally, is scattered in many things because mind has to think of many things. And therefore, this keeping the mind in Ishvara or having him as goal will be sort of a diluted thing. Therefore, in meditation, one does in a concentrated way what is done in a diluted way during the day. But understand that our life cannot be totally in contradiction to what we are meditating upon. Our life also should be compatible to, because in this meditation, Lord Krishna says that you meditate upon your goal. That's all. Whatever you consider as the goal of your life, think about that. And remember that I should be your goal because that's what you're searching for. Therefore, mat paraha, satchidananda tat paraha, that my mind, I want satchidananda. And my mind also is filled with thoughts of satchidananda. So if this is a meditation upon Saguna Brahma, then it can be a prayerful meditation. This meditation upon Nirguna Brahman, meaning Brahman without attributes, as we said yesterday, that should necessarily be myself. Then I meditate upon myself. I am Satchidananda. And I am seeking Satchidananda being myself. That what I am seeking is nothing but my own self. I am seeking limitlessness, wholeness, completeness, total freedom. That's what I am seeking, and that is myself. And therefore, let the self of Satchidananda be the goal, and let the mind also be focused upon self, which is Satchidananda, mat chittaha, mat paraha. So may you do this all the time, for a length of time, long time, constantly, with devotion. The next verse tells us what is the result of this yoga. What's the result of meditating or concentrating mind in this way? Verse 15 says, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam mat samstham adhigacchate. Yunjan evam sada atmanam. Sada atmanam evam yunjan. Atmanam is the mind. Thus sada, all the time. When the devotee or the seeker or the aspirant or the mokshu is sada all the time, yunjan, meditating or concentrating his mind in this manner, in the manner that was described in the previous verses. And particularly, the most important thing described, as we said, is mat chittaha, mat paraha. Thus, when the aspirant tries to focus his mind upon me, upon the self all the time, and considering the very self as the goal, then what happens? The mind becomes a self. Because whatever you meditate upon, that's what you become. In this case, of course, self is the nature of the mind also. Like an ornament meditating upon gold, this is what it is. An ornament can meditate upon a big, beautiful ornament, that is Ishtadevata. Or a wave can meditate upon ocean, which is Ishvara. Or a wave can meditate upon water, which is itself. Even meditating upon ocean also is nothing but meditating upon water, but still water having vastness and water having the glory, water having attributes is ocean. But ultimately, meditating upon ocean will bring him to meditation upon water also. So we may first get identified with ocean and then get identified with water, if that suits. Or the way you can meditate upon I is water. How do you do that? That is by giving up the identification with name and form. For the way to meditate upon water as a self, what is necessary for it is to give up the identification with, meaning that not think of itself as having a form or a name, but think of itself as having just a content, which is water. So what is meant by meditating upon myself? What do I think of myself? I have a name and form also, which is characterized by the body or the mind, and then that is called the ego, that I don't meditate upon the name and form. What's the content of ego? Which is nothing but consciousness. Nothing but sat or existence. That I am is a content. That I shine is a content. That I am and I shine, that sat and chit have no form, have no boundaries, and therefore fullness or ananda I am. Thus, focusing one's mind upon the very core of one's true nature. What is the unchanging aspect of myself? The name and form keeps on changing, but that I am does not change, and therefore you identify with this fact that I am. That's my true nature. So mind meditating upon self is similar to a whale meditating upon water, or an ornament meditating upon gold. So also ahankara meditating upon self. Ahankara is comparable to an ornament. The self is comparable to gold. Ahankara is called Jivatma. The self is called Paramatma. Ornament is called Jivatma. Gold is called Paramatma. What's the relationship between them? Wave is called Jivatma. Water is called Paramatma. What's the relationship between them? There is no relationship. They are one. There is no relationship between ornament and gold because they are one. You can say gold transcends the ornament. Okay. Transcend doesn't mean that the gold is standing 15 feet away from ornament. Understand? Gold is the very content of ornament, because ornament cannot be without gold, whereas gold can be without ornament. That's what is meant by transcending. And therefore, the ego that I am meditating on my true nature, which is consciousness. That's the changeless self that I am. That's Shivoham, the Shiva I am, or Ham Brahmasmi, Brahma I am. Evam Sada Atmanam Yunjan. Thus all the time making the mind think in this manner. See this fact. Making the mind see this fact. That consciousness is my nature. This body-mind complex actually is illuminated by me. I am the illuminator. And therefore, I am not the body. I am the witness of the body of the mind. I am witness of all the thoughts. Evam Yunjan. Thus, all the time bringing the mind back to the reality of the self. Sada Atmanam Yunjan. And thus, all the time meditating in this manner with the help of the mind, or focusing the mind upon the true nature of the self. Niyatamanasah. The yogi who is Niyatamanasah, one whose mind has been mastered. What is meant by mind being mastered is that now mind naturally abides in the self. You see, mind is always in the self. Mind is never away from the self. An ornament is never away from gold. A wave is never away from water. And so also the mind is never away from the self. The only thing that creates a distance between ornament and gold is ornament thinking that I am this name and form, It is only the thought or perception that creates the distance. There is no distance. And so also with the ego and the self, what's the distance? Ego all the time thinking of itself as a name and form, as a limited entity, and that is what creates a so-called distance. Otherwise, there is no distance, because the true nature of ego is nothing but consciousness. And thus, again and again, what is required here is, what is done here is, that the habit of the mind to give reality to one's limited, it has become a habit. That I am a limited being on account of identifying with this body of the mind, and therefore the idea of limitation has become a habit to look upon myself as a limited entity. Here we will change the habit completely by bringing the mind again and again to its true nature. Hey, you are not a limited entity. As Swami Vivekananda used to say, I am not the body having consciousness, I am the consciousness having a body. I am not the body having consciousness, I am consciousness having a body. I am not the mind having consciousness, I am consciousness having a mind. And therefore, the body is a dwelling place. The mind is the instrument with which to do things. The sense organs are also an instrument. Fine. I am not that. I have no enmity with them. I have no problem with them. I am not opposed to them. I love them. I love the body. I love my mind. It's fine. At the same time, I am not confined to them. So thus, again and again, making the mind see the truth of itself. And God knows how long one has to do that. Therefore, sada atma, sada, all the time. As Ayurveda says, older the disease, longer the treatment. Swamiji having this disease since the last 25 years, for at least 25 weeks you must take this medication. So this disease of taking the body to be myself, or the disease always to look upon myself as a small, insignificant being, is so old, age-old. It will take some time to overcome that habit. Niyatamanasah, when that habit is completely gone, and when I abide in the knowledge that the Shiva, Brahman I am, consciousness I am, when that becomes an effortless thing, an abiding knowledge. Shantim nirvana paramam matsamstham adhigacchati. The Lord Krishna says, this aspirant adhigacchati attains shantim, he attains peace. Well, peace not only is a state of mind, which we can gain, which is also fine, but the peace that is achieved as a result of some effort stays as long as the effort is, and then again the peace goes away. But here, the peace is with myself. As I said, the fight also is always with myself. Every time I say to myself, I am a limited being, and I fight with myself. The very thought that I am limited it just creates in me, I have an allergy with that. I revolt to that idea. And every time the mind comes to the idea I am limited, there is a resistance. So, associated with the thought of limitedness is resistance, is fighting, is ashanti, is agitation. That is the original source of all disturbance or agitation. Is what? My notion that I am a limited being. That I am ignorant, that I am mortal, that I am limited, that I am helpless, that I am dependent, that I am significant, that I don't count, I am nothing, whatever. In different ways people think about themselves. Each one of these thoughts only represents the limitedness of the self, and right there is the Ashanti, is the disturbance or distraction or agitation, opposite of peace. Now, Shanti that we get, the peace that we get by different efforts, which is okay. By music you may get, by yogasanas you may get, by pranayama you may get, by prayers you may get, which is all fine. But then, it is not everlasting peace because the very source of disturbance, namely I am limited, that continues there, None of those practices will be able to displace the idea that I am limited. And therefore, the cause of disturbance remains. And therefore, it's not abiding peace. Nirvana paramam shantim, this abiding peace, is when I make peace with myself. When I accept myself totally. And I cannot make believe my mind and come on, accept it. That won't work. Mind must find the self acceptable. The only way it will find itself acceptable is when it sees that I am free from every limitation, which is a fact. So, when the mind sees this, it will abide. To the extent that it sees, to that extent it gains the peace. When it abides in this knowledge, it gains lasting peace. Nirvana paramam. Nirvana means moksha, which is the cessation of all conflict. As I said, basically, I have conflict with myself. I have problem with myself, arising from ignorance. And therefore, Nirvana paramam, the peace that culminates, paramam, that culminates to nirvana, culminates to the moksha, culminates to total freedom. That peace characterized by total freedom from a cessation of all sorrow, cessation of all conflict. Mat samstam, Lord Krishna says, which is nothing but my nature, which is centered on me, which is my nature, adhigacchati, this is what the yogi or the aspirant achieves. He achieves peace, which is cessation of all sorrow, cessation of all the conflict, cessation of all the inner discomfort. And that's all that is required. Other than this, Ashanti doesn't matter. If there is noise around, there is no problem. The noise can be in terms of people making noises, people making sounds, people even insulting me, people, any kind of thing. That noise does not matter as long as there is peace within myself. As long as there is a total acceptance of myself, total comfort with myself, having discovered the true nature of myself, then nothing else matters. Nothing whatever can ever make me unhappy at all, because nothing makes me unhappy anyway. The only thing that makes me unhappy at any time is my perception that I am a limited being. In what the world does it does it. It keeps on pushing that button and reminds me all the time of my helplessness or limitedness. When I discover and become my knowledge that that's not the case, then it doesn't matter how much Ashanti is around. It is not necessary that the mind should not be thinking also. A wise person doesn't mind, let the mind think. Except that mind is become free from all conflict. Mind is totally at peace with itself. So all the thoughts also now originate from peace. They're all going to be, all the thoughts which are nothing but originating of peace or fullness, and so those thoughts only are going to be a blessing and nothing else. So his art will always say, Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Let everybody be happy. Sarve santu nirama. Let everybody be healthy. Much samstam adhigacchati. This is called moksha. Moksha can be described as abiding peace. And here Lord Krishna uses the word shanti instead of ananda, because we should know that this abiding peace is what Vedanta means by word ananda. It's not happiness that comes in spurts or some kind of an excitement or some kind of an ecstasy which is short-lived. It is abiding peace, is abiding ananda. The Shanta rasa is the ultimate rasa. So 15th verse describes the results of this kind of meditation. Now, interestingly enough, in 16th and 17th verses, Lord Krishna tells us also some rules that we should follow in our day-to-day life in order for meditation to become effective. Lord Krishna says that our life also should be compatible to what it is that we are meditating upon. Meditation should not be an isolated event. It should be, the life also should be meditative. Life, there should be what Lord Krishna says, alertness or vigilance in life. And that's what Lord Krishna says in the next two verses. So let's read the verse 16. Natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikantamanashnatah nachati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Nati ashnataha tu yoga hasti. Lord Krishna says yoga, or the ability to concentrate one's mind, the ability to meditate cannot be on the part of one who eats too much. Ati ashnataha. One who eats excessively, that person cannot enjoy a frame of mind with which he can meditate. Nach ekantam anashnataha. Nor is meditation possible for a person who does not eat at all. So one who eats too much, so when you eat too much, there is always problem with digestion. Eating too much food brings about tamas, number one. It makes the mind dull. Because when we eat, naturally energy is required to digest the food, and energy of blood circulation is not available to the brain. And there is a common experience that after having a sumptuous meal, that a person feels sleepy. So when the food, eating too much food makes a person dull, makes the mind dull, makes the mind sleepy. At the same time, there are problems with digestion also. When the food is not digested properly, then also the stomach is not at ease, and that also disturbs the mind. Therefore, eating food in excess it doesn't help, it hurts me. Eating too much is hurtful to the body, and through that it is also a disturbance to the mind. Alright, how about the other person who does not eat anything at all? Nacha ekanta manashnataha. A person who does not eat at all, that person also cannot enjoy a mind which is required for meditation. Because the body does not get the necessary nourishment, and therefore it becomes weak. Then also my fellow feels sleepy. So when you are hungry or weak, then also you feel sleepy. And when there is too much food, then also you feel sleepy. Therefore, Lord Krishna avoid these extremes. Avoid eating too much, avoid eating too little. That is the general instruction with reference to ahara, with reference to food. Nachati swapnashilasya. Also yoga or meditation cannot be for persons who sleeps too much. Jagrato naiva charjuna. Nor can it be for a person who always keeps awake, who doesn't sleep. Sleep is required for the mind to get rest. Therefore, if there is no sleep, then also mind does not get rest, and that mind will feel sleepy while meditating. Therefore, one of the obstacles to meditation is lack of rest or lack of rest. And that's the reason why very often when we are meditating, we fall asleep. Because meditation creates a condition which is conducive for sleeping as well. Because you make your mind quiet by observing your breathing, by doing some japa, and then the mind becomes quiet, relaxed. When the mind becomes relaxed, if it did not have adequate rest, then relaxed mind will go into tamas, meaning that will fall asleep. If too much food is there, then also mind will fall asleep. If too little food is there, meaning the body is weak or the mind also is weak, therefore it will fall asleep. If too much sleep is there, then sleeping becomes the nature of the mind, then anytime it becomes relaxed, it falls asleep. So then also it will fall asleep. If too little sleep is there because it did not get it, then also it will fall asleep. All these are difficulties, all the obstacles to concentrating the mind. Therefore Lord Krishna says that may you not sleep too much, not sleep too little. Don't think that sleeping too much will help you in meditation. Don't think that not sleeping will help you in meditation. Don't think that eating too much will help you in meditation. Don't think that not eating at all will help you in meditation. Don't think walking too much will help you, or not walking at all will help you. Avoid the extremes. Then what should you do? Next verse says that Yuktahara viharasya Yuktacheshtasya karmasu Yuktasvapnavabodhasya Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Yukta ahara viharasya. Yukta means one is alert, one is vigilant. Here the translation is one is moderate. Yukta, one who observes sense of proportion. Ahara, in food, in eating, a person who observes sense of proportion. Meaning one who is moderate in eating. Vihara, in movement. One who is vigilant or moderate in movement also. Vihara means walking. So walking also is required. But too much walking is also not good. Too little walking also is not good. Too much walking, the body gets tired. Too little walking, body doesn't get exercise at all. And therefore, moderation in movements and walking. As I said, too much food and too little food, either way, both of them are not good. Too much food hurts, too little food does not protect, does not nourish. Therefore, moderation in food. Both in what we eat, when we eat, and how much we eat. What we eat also is important. Not only quantity, but what we eat. We should know the disposition of our mind, our disposition or the nature of our body. We should know what kind of food suits the body, what kind of food does not suit. That Ayurveda can help us very well, whether our disposition is predominant pitta or vata or kapha, or what is our disposition. And accordingly we should know what kind of food will suit me. Otherwise, eating too many potatoes and stuff like that, vata. Eating all kinds of tamarind and sour things, pitta. And too much of buttermilk, yogurt, kapha. So we should know, moderation and everything is fine, but otherwise keep on drinking buttermilk whole day, Keep on eating fruits whole day. Maybe that may or may not suit you. So sour things do not suit some people, yogurt does not suit some people, the food character of the vayu, all the pulses and things like that may or may not suit everybody. So we should know what suits me, what suits my body. So there is a balance of these doshas or the humors, kapha, vata and pitta. So accordingly, what we eat also becomes important. And as Lord Krishna says in the 17th chapter of Gītā, well, food should be sattvic food, not rajas nor tamas. Too spicy, too sour, too salty, too hot, all of this is rajas. Leftover food, stale food, this is all tamas. Avoid those things. As best possible, eat fresh food, warm food, moderate in spices, and so easy to eat and easy to digest. So sattvic food as much as possible, in moderation, at appropriate time, in quantities, in the nature of food also is such that it suits my body. So food is very important because food has not only effect on the body, it also has effect on the mind. So Chandogya Upanishad says that the food that we eat gets divided into three aspects. One is the grossest aspect of the food that gets rejected, the medium aspect of the food that becomes converted into flesh, and the subtle aspect of food becomes nourishing to the mind, nourishes the mind. Therefore food becomes very important. As I say, you are what you eat, and therefore it's important what we eat. And therefore being vigilant about food, being moderate about food. Yukta ahara viharasya, in movement also. Yukta chestasya karmasu. One is moderate again, or alert, or vigilant with reference to his effort in various actions that we perform. So let there be alertness or vigilance with reference to the various things that I do. Let me be alert with when I am talking, in movements of hands, movement of legs, in our words. In all of them, let there be an alertness. I cannot expect to be alert at the time of meditation when I am not alert during the rest of the day, And therefore, we must cultivate alertness or vigilance. Moderation as well as vigilance. I should be aware of what I am talking, aware of what my hands are doing, what my legs are doing, what my eyes are doing. And therefore, let there be a sort of self-control over organs of perception, that the organs of perception do what I want them to do, and as much as I want them to do. So watching TV, moderation. Reading newspaper, moderation. Making phone calls, moderation. Internet, moderation. Whatever. Everywhere, moderation. Because if you are not alert, the mind being what it is, it will get attached to that, get addicted to that, and then it becomes very difficult to pull it back from there. And therefore, vigilance or alertness everywhere. Mind does require recreation, give it. Does require some entertainment, fine. But not too much entertainment, and no entertainment at all also may not be good. Some recreation may be okay, also in moderation. Alertness with reference to all the activities that I perform. So there is no waste of movement, there is no unnecessary word, no unnecessary gesture, no unnecessary thing. Thus, a person is together. He is an organized person, a disciplined person. Yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya. Moderation again with reference to sleep and keeping awake. Not sleeping too much, not sleeping too little. But Swamiji, how many hours should I sleep? How much should I eat? That everybody should decide for themselves, really. For somebody maybe 2 chapatis are okay. That is moderation for him. For somebody it may be 5 chapatis, okay. For somebody it may be 1 chapati also. And there is no rule. In fact, Yoga Shastra says, it is said in fact, Purved ashanenardam. Fill up your stomach, half of the stomach, with solid food. Trutiyam udakenava. 1/4 the stomach should be filled with what liquids? Vayoho sancharnarthaya chaturtham avasheshet, and leave 1/4 the stomach empty for the movement of air. Because oxygen is required, understand that the food is digested by the digestive fire. And fire always requires oxygen for it to function. So if you fill up the whole stomach, then poor digestive fire gets no air at all because there is no room in the stomach. As Lord Krishna says, prana pana samayukta pachamyannam chaturvidham. I reside as the digestive fire in the stomachs of all living beings and digest the food with the help of prana and apana. The incoming breath and outgoing breath. So incoming breath brings oxygen, which the fire here uses and sends out the carbon dioxide, after the combustion. So combustion takes place in the stomach. For that you require air because that's where the oxygen is. If you don't leave any room for movement of air, digestion becomes difficult. So it says, leave 1/4 of your stomach empty for the movement of air. So now we can decide. Swamiji, but how do I know what is half full stomach? Well, eat well, then you know that your stomach is full. Then now eat half of that, that's all. In sleep also, one can reduce as much as possible, but you should not feel deprived of rest. But otherwise, if you are sleeping 8 hours a day, try 7.5 hours. If it works out, try 7 hours. If that works, try 6.5 hours. If that works, try 6 hours. That works, try 5.5 hours. That works, try 5 hours. Ideally, they say that the whole night should be divided into 3 sections. The first and last section one should be awake. The middle section, 4 hours, you should sleep. So from evening 6 to morning 6 is a night. Then you go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night and wake up at 2 o'clock. That's what it means, the middle one. But anyway, usually they say that you should wake up at the dawn. That is called Brahma Muhurta. And so we should be there to welcome the sun. Not Surya Vamshi. Surya Vamshi means people who wake up after the sun comes. That's not right. We should be there to welcome the sun. And therefore, waking up early in the morning also is good. When should you perform meditation? That's the best time. When your mind is rested because of sleep. And do this meditation after taking bath. That's the best because then the body also is fresh, mind also is fresh. Yukta Swapna Vodasya, one is moderate with reference to sleep as well as keeping awake. Yogo Bhavati Dukkhaha. For such a person, meditation becomes destroyer of sorrow. Then the meditation will bring the knowledge, will bring that peace which will destroy the sorrow. Meditation results into that peace which destroys the sorrow. In short, for us to be able to perform meditation, this kind of lifestyle also has an important role. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari